Good morning, everyone. As always, place your cross on first, no matter what's going on in your life, and live for God. You know, like I said, a change is going to take place. The thing is, everybody tells you a change is going to take place. But I think a lot of Christians are thinking that change is going to happen instantly. But I was listening to Billy Graham this morning. He said, you come to the Lord so he can make a change. And you start off as a baby. Well, that's actually scriptural. Billy Graham didn't say anything. You come as a little child. Because you're going through a rebirth process. So a rebirth process, you start learning things differently. It's not that you're going to stop seeing everything that goes on in the world. You're going to see more so. But you're going to have better discernment. And it's over time, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to be easier for you to follow God's voice and the commands that he has in view. They're going to start burying inside your heart. But you got to start the process. That's the big deal that a lot of people don't do. One of the biggest processes you need to start is reading the Bible on the regular for yourselves. You understand? I encourage biblical reading because my thing is I don't want people to follow after Houston McCullum Beard Jr. No, I want you to follow after God. That's my whole point of making these videos. And I do it daily so you can get in the habitual way of doing it daily. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I'm going to start by reading Exodus chapter 19. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the lands of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and to tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians. I talked about this yesterday. And how I bare you on my eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And it shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. Now, when you give your life to Christ, basically that is what you are doing. You are making an oath to Jesus, to God, to the Holy Spirit, that you're going to follow his ways. And he said, my ways are not grievous. Right? So let's read the 10 Commandments. So the Lord told him all this and that. And God spake all these words, Exodus chapter 20. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now I can cover that. Oh man, it's a lot. They're not grievous, but you got to think. These are just 10, but these 10 cover a multitude. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven or above, or that is in the earth, or that is in the water underneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, though thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and the sea, and all that it is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his manservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunders and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking, and when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you. And that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. People don't like the Old Testament for some reason. But Jesus said this multiple times. He told the woman caught in the act of adultery, go your way and sin no more. He told the other man, go your way and sin no more, unless a worse thing come upon you. Now think about this now. You gave your life to God. Now, he's going to prove you. Now the best way to start is with the 10. But it's different for everybody, so. But there's nothing wrong with starting with the 10 Commandments. The thing is, when you start reading the Bible, you're going to see what happens when people disobey his commands. From people, men of God, women of God, and all such things. You see, this is the process. You know better now. Now remember, I talked about you being a child as you give your life to Christ. So, you need to read the Bible, but start with the 10 Commandments. Now, one of the 10 Commandments, that one thing that he talks about over and over again out of the 10 in the Old Testament a lot is the Sabbath day. Now, one thing that he says in this about the Sabbath day, if you go over to Exodus chapter 30, 31, 32, he's going to talk about the Sabbath, and he's going to talk about observing this forever. Now, God doesn't say forever with everything, but with the Sabbath day, he says forever. With the 10 Commandments, same. But forever the Sabbath day. The Sabbath is 1 day a week. Very simple. Very simple. He said, observe this forever. Forever. Now, today I'm going to talk about the Sabbath day. I've done this before, but this is on my mind. You know, I see a lot of church leaders, and I watch Billy Graham almost religiously. Certain other people, Vadi Bachman, certain people I watch continually. I like the way they preach. They preach the truth. You understand? But a lot of times I see things when a lot of people preach how they distort the word, and it bothers me. But they always tell you to find a church home and assemble with other believers. All right. What am I getting at? How does this relate to the Sabbath day? I done noticed something in my walk as a Christian for these last 14, 13 years. That it's not too many groups that actually keep the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. I bet you're like, what? We do keep the Sabbath. Oh, you do? You do? Do you? Or do you keep Sunday worship? You ever notice something? They don't call it Sabbath day worship. They call it Sunday worship. They don't call it the Sabbath because it's not. You know, I guarantee the whole world thinks they're honoring God on the Sabbath day. They do. But in reality, they are not. Think about it. On his day, he said no work should be done. So let's say years ago, the devil was like, how can I trick folks to dishonoring the Sabbath? How can I do this? I know one way I can do it. I can change the Sabbath day to Sunday and make that a rest day and make the Saturday just like a regular work day. Now let me break it down to you in the way way Jesus broke it down. He said he is Lord over Sabbath, over the Sabbath, right? He is Lord over the Sabbath. So the disciples picked some ears of corn on the Sabbath day. Now think about that. Is that really working? And he even said if you have a friend that is in need on the Sabbath day, what do? You have a lost animal. Let's say your dog goes missing. When you go looking for it on the Sabbath day. Now God knows the difference from working and helping and assisting others. He knows the difference. You understand? Now think about the world. The world has people working nonstop. Now, God is not the author of confusion. So why is this confusion in regards to the Sabbath day? If God is not the author of confusion, why is it confusion concerning the Sabbath? Because the enemy wants to keep you confused. You know, I don't consider myself no denomination, but I try my best to institute the ways of God in my life. And the thing is, I didn't notice something. When you try to institute the ways of God in your life, people don't understand it. And one of the main things they don't understand is, well, why don't you come to my church on Sunday? I know what you're finna say. Well, you can worship God every day of the week. True. But he set apart the Sabbath. He set it apart since Genesis. Since the beginning, he set apart the Sabbath day. Now, I watched a documentary. I would encourage a lot of people to watch this. I think it was made by Seventh-day Adventists or Jehovah's Witness, one of the groups. But they take very great responsibility for the Sabbath day. And they give you a history lesson on how the Sabbath day came to be changed. You know, it's called As It Was in the Days of Noah. It's a 3-part series or 4-part, I can't remember. I think I watched it on Prime. I can't remember, but I would encourage you to watch it. I don't really lead people to certain things like this, but I would encourage you to watch it. I would. You understand? I would encourage you to watch a lot of things. Because I don't want nobody to be tricked. Now, according to this documentary, they built the foundation on the mark based on the Sabbath. It's been a while, about 2 years since I watched it. But they focus on the Sabbath a lot. Now, years ago, God always said it in my mind. And I know it was God. If you're going to do a church, if you're going to start a church, start it on the Sabbath day. And I'm like, how do I do that? Because I know a lot of people are not going to go for it. But the thing is, God has said this on my mind. Now he has said it on a lot of people's minds. I see a lot of people's minds are opening. People that love, if you love God, you keep his commands. Oh, you do? Huh. You're supposed to keep his commands, right? So why is the majority of the world not in regards to that one day? That one day. People that get mad, oh, I ain't see you in church on Easter. Well, God never commanded me to observe Easter. Christmas. I remember last year, Christmas fell on a Sunday. Check this out. Check this out. It fell on a Sunday last year. I remember this. Because I remember the church I was going to at the time. I remember this now. It's on a Sunday. A lot of churches did not hold church because Christmas was on a Sunday. So they neglected the Sabbath for Christmas. That special day. But we're not going to have Christmas next Sunday because Christmas is Sunday. And I know y'all want to spend time with your families. Well, let me say this. 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. You're wrong either way. Well, you want to look at however you want to look at it, you're wrong either way. But this is your special day where you come to honor God on the Sabbath day, but you say Christmas is very more special than the Sabbath. So we're going to shut down the Lord's house on this day. Man, ain't that weird? Ain't that weird? So Christmas overrides the Sabbath, which is not even the right Sabbath. But you see how it is. I bet you if Christmas fell on a Saturday, nobody wouldn't have cared. Nobody cares. Christmas fall on Saturday, oh, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about nothing. It's not the holy day anyway. Now, this morning Billy Graham was talking about assembling together. And they love to use this. The church loves to use it. But you know what? Using lies to mislead people who know the truth will not work. You know, Abraham and Jacob and all of them, before all these commands were in place, before churches or these buildings were established, they honored God by keeping the Sabbath. Noah, all of them, before the 10 Commandments were in place, because it's been in place since the beginning. And this before they had any words written. Right? Now, let me pause now, we'll continue.